Right. So today I just want to kind of, a year and a half ago I went overseas to visit my family in Sweden, and I went to go visit my family in England, in the UK, and two friends in the UK and friends in Sweden. So I yeah, my I'm I've always been one of the youngest or the youngest in the family, and I've got three older brothers. I've got cousins who are older. I've got my aunts, my uncles, my nephews, my nieces. Everyone's all older than me. I've always been the youngest, but now I'm 45 and I'm also getting on in years. And my mom was amazing at linking me up with all my overseas family because I don't have any family here in Cape Town. So she was amazing at linking me up to everyone. And when she was well and making good money and working, she would send me over and she would maintain the contact with all the overseas family and make sure that I went over to visit them once every year or two. And that built quite strong bonds. And it was also a wonderful opportunity for me to explore the world, go overseas, have a bit of fun, get some wonderful life experience, and connect with family. And being South African, it is wise, although it never seems to happen, but it is wise to have a plan B in case this country falls apart, or there's civil war, or we go through a very bad recession in South Africa, we fall apart, and we apparently have the highest unemployment in the world in South Africa, but I don't know if that's really true. Something like some parts it's 65% unemployment, which is insane. I don't know how we don't have real social welfare or subsidies because the country's very poor. South Africa is a very poor nation. A lot of homelessness and poverty. Um, yeah, this dog. This is my mom's dog, Max. He's come to visit, and that's her cat, Susie, down there somewhere. They've come to um, keep me company while I do a blog. Anyway, so yeah, there was a time when I was going overseas and seeing family a lot, and I thought, well, just wait till I'm older and I'm making really good money. Maybe I'll buy a property in Sweden and I'll buy a property in England, and I'll travel a lot. And the dream was, I chose plumbing because I thought I would make a lot of money doing plumbing. I thought I was going to be wealthy and successful and rich, and not that I want to buy things. I'm not materialistic, but I thought that would allow me to travel and go overseas, and especially if I had my own plumbing company, I could be successful. I could buy properties, have passive income. There's all kinds, there's a whole logic, a whole plan, a whole thinking behind it, a strategy. And I thought I'll do a job that's not glamorous. Just looking, the reason I'm looking up is there's a squirrel on the roof of my mom's old house. There's a squirrel. I don't know what it's doing. Hey! I should throw something at it. Hey! We shouldn't really allow squirrels in the roofs because they chew wires and they can start fires. Anyway. So yeah, um, and always it's something I procrastinated about and postponed and put off the going overseas and seeing family. I thought I could always do it next year. I could always do it next year. Next year I'll make enough money. Next year I'll be able to take a break. Next year, and I've spent the last 22 years. My wife and I have spent 22 years me building up a plumbing company, getting started creating a plumbing company, getting the skills, building it up. Almost every waking hour of the day, every minute of my life has been devoted to building this business. And yes, some days it's a gold mine where I make good money, where I catch up on debts, but a lot of the time I make a loss and my staff get paid and I have to borrow money to get through the month. So I don't always even make a profit. It's not because cost of living and all the monthly debit orders, the insurances, the taxes to the government, the petrols, the vehicle maintenance, owning a property, having premises, parking, petrol, telephones, internet, you name it. Also just household, groceries, school fees, everything. It all adds up. And having dependents, it's a hell of a thing. Very difficult to make ends meet and to always make a profit. So it never really happened. I never made enough so that I could buy properties overseas, and or had savings that I could travel, and competent staff where I could go overseas and leave them in charge, and the company would run itself. It's been hell. I'm, at the same time, I'm very grateful, and I've had amazing good fortune and good luck, and yeah. And I did go overseas last year to visit family, and I can't. The reason I want to record my memories while they're still fresh is I can't remember the other trips that well. When I was overseas this time, my brother lives in Stockholm. My brother Patrick, he lives in Stockholm. My aunt Kerstin, she also lives in Stockholm. Patrick lived on Kungsholmen, and it's a little. Stockholm is made up of a number of islands. So these you wouldn't know it because they built bridges and roads and everything and infrastructure on top of the different islands. But there's all these waterways and lakes and rivers, and it's quite interesting. So if you look at the map of Stockholm, then you see, oh wow, it's little islands all joined together, close together, and there's all these bridges that you get from one to the other. And my brother Patrick lives on Kungsholmen. He's got a tiny, very cozy but tiny little flat. It's like one of these mini flats, you see on the YouTube where people live in Europe. They live in tiny little flats, maybe 20 square meters or 30 square meters is the entire flat. It's like basically one room split up into different living areas. It's bigger than his previous flat. His previous flat was even smaller. It was much smaller than this one. So this one at least has a kind of separate bedroom. And but it's totally fine. I mean, it caters to what his needs are. He's not married. He doesn't have kids, so he doesn't need to. He doesn't need more space, and it's affordable. And he's lived in this tiny flat now for probably 30 years. I mean, that's mind-boggling to stay in the same. But he travels a lot, my brother Patrick. He's constantly going to Canary Islands and Thailand and Italy and France, and he doesn't travel as much as he used to, but he used to travel 7-8 times a year, all over Europe, all over the world. I mean, golly, can you imagine living that life where you can? I'm so jealous. I can't even go to Hermanus, which is an hour's drive away. It really blows my mind. Maybe this holiday I should try to put some money together and we go on a Airbnb somewhere nice. But anyway, you can see I shaved today. But anyway, and I'd forgotten that I take bus 54 or bus 62 from Patrick's flat to go visit my aunt Kerstin, who she was staying in. The road's name was Slipsgatan, and she'd lived in that flat for maybe 50 years. And she always had a dog, and she would take her dogs for walks. And when I went to visit them last year, June, July, she had I can't remember the name of the dog. It'll probably pop into my head, but she had this lovely, what looked a bit like a corgi cross something else. Corgi cross Alsatian, like a corgi with long legs. And the first time I went to visit her in Stockholm, she had 2 Jack Russells, Fix and doesn't really matter, Fix and Lilan or something, I don't know. And then the next time I visited, they were old, but they'd had puppies, and she'd kept 3 of the puppies. And one of the puppies was called Yoni, and I think they were old when they had puppies, and he was a runt and a bit retarded or mongoloid or a bit brain damaged or whatever. He's a bit of a slow dog. and the two older dogs they'd been young at my first visit, and the next visit they were old and grey and blind, and they had had a puppy. And then the next time I visited, and Yoni had his brother and his sister there as well. So there were like 5 dogs. She had 5 dogs. And then the next time there were 3. There was Yoni and his siblings, and then the last time was just Yoni and the other 2 had died. And Yoni was now old and grey and limping along. Yeah, it's terrible how I get brief snippets of people's lives, of my family's lives, because I see them so rarely, and it's so expensive and difficult to travel the distance, and I'm too shy to impose on them, and I have such a busy home life here in Cape Town, and the plumbing didn't quite take off. I do better than some and worse than others, but it didn't quite take off where I'm a millionaire overnight. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to work till the day I die, and I enjoy what I do. I'm good at it, so it's not the worst thing ever. But it does hurt. Yeah, it does make me quite sad and heartsore, and miss my family. Anyway, so last year I just decided, bugger that, I'm gonna go see my family. I don't care what it takes, and I did have to borrow a bit of money. I did have some money in savings, and fortunately I had a secretary at the time who was able to run the company while I was overseas, so I still had a bit of an income, and she would send me WhatsApps about what I need to pay. So I still did payments for my banking. I didn't let her do any of the banking, and yeah, it worked. And so the first place I went to, I landed in Turkey. So I flew from the international airport here in Cape Town, and it was a long flight. I think it was 12 hours. I landed in Turkey, and it was about a 3 or 4 hour stay over. And while I was there, it's a tradition I've always had when I go away. When I'm in Cape Town, I don't drink. I'm not saying I never drink, but generally I'm sober and responsible and a bit boring. I don't go out, don't drink, don't do much. That's as a general rule. But when I go overseas, it's being a bit naughty and knowing, hey, nobody knows what I'm up to, nobody knows that I'm here. And I realize the significance of the moment, and how this could be the last time I ever get in an airplane and fly. I could even die in the plane, who knows, but anyway. So I do drink a little bit. I don't drink heavily when I go overseas, but I do drink a little bit. So I landed in Turkey, and I found a funny burger place. It was this hamburger joint. It was kind of like fake Burger King or something. It was Turkish Burger King. I went there and I had a beer. I was surprised that in Turkey, because it's a Muslim country, that at the airport you could buy alcohol. So I had a beer and I ate one of these burgers. It was a really nice burger. And the people were very friendly. There was a lot of people wearing hijab at the Turkish airport. Obviously, a lot of Muslim people. Looked very Arab. And when I was there, I saw a lot of people who had had hair implants, and when I saw it, I thought, oh, I've heard about this, but I didn't anticipate how many. You hear about it from YouTubers and streamers and other people, about people flying to places like Turkey for plastic surgery and for hair implants. When I was there, I saw so many people and it looked like they were in so much agony. And yeah, obviously it's safe, otherwise people wouldn't do it. But I would be terrified flying to another country and getting plastic surgery by a stranger. So I wonder how they set it up. There must be organizations or agencies, and they must have a CV. I don't know how it works, but anyway, so that was that. And then from there I flew to Stockholm, flying to Sweden. And at the time, Israel was at war, or Israel was fighting in Gaza. And there's my son. Hey, dude! There was a war going on with Israel and Gaza, and also in Lebanon. I mean, Israel was fighting Lebanon, Gaza, I think Iran, everywhere. It's like just flipping. And we flew we flew that direction. When you're flying, you get to see the map and your flight path. And we were flying, and the flight path was supposed to fly over Israel, Gaza, but it deviated to the left around Egypt, and then to get to Istanbul. I think it's Istanbul, Turkey. And I was looking out like, ooh, that's Israel. Ooh, and it was nighttime, and I thought I could see like flames and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that was very exciting. I found that quite exciting. And being in Istanbul, that's my first time ever in Turkey, even though I never left the airport. And walking around, and all the times I'd flown came back in my memory. And I remembered what it was like and how to navigate airports. I've been to a lot of airports, and I've done a lot of flying when I was younger. And I was going to say, being older and having a stressful life and lots of responsibilities, it was so nice to just be able to sit and watch TV and do nothing and not have. And as soon as I got on the plane, all my worries that are in Cape Town, South Africa, just dissolved and went away. And all the people in my staff and my responsibilities and the pets, everything that I hold and hang on to and worry about and think about 24/7. The minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, it just was gone, and I just felt free, and like I was just myself, and I could do what I want, and it was the most, like, yeah. But I love my life, and I've chosen my responsibilities, and I've chosen the people that are in my life, and decided to have kids and adopt pets, so, and have staff and build a company. So it's not as if I'm unhappy or resent my life. It was an observation I had when I was saying, oh, I feel 10 times lighter. Like all this weight is off my shoulders. I can just be myself and explore and be an adventurer and have fun. Yeah, I would love to be a blogger, a travel blogger and a food blogger. Oh, that would be, I can't imagine a better life than get paid to travel and explore the world and talk about my experiences. I think that would be what I would want to do if I ever got lots of subscribers. I would want to be somebody who travels and explores the world. I could be an older retired man whose kids are grown up, who travels around and explores the world and eats food and goes to interesting places and comments on it. That would be heaven. Imagine getting paid to do that. A lot of people would get paid to do that. That would be heaven. But anyway, so then getting closer to Stockholm flying, I was now getting very nervous because I thought, how am I going to know how to get hold of Patrick? I didn't write down his address. I don't know anything. I'm 100% dependent on WhatsApp and Messenger and Wi-Fi, and him being responsible and finding me. And when I told him what day I was arriving, he was working. He wasn't able to come to the airport to collect me, and the airport I chose was an hour and a half train and bus ride away from where he lives. So he didn't want to travel that entire distance, so he just told me, take this and then do this and get on that train and travel to here and wait for this station. So he gave me a list of instructions as to more or less where we would meet up. What part of Stockholm Central Station, or whatever it was. And so I did that. I've got a very strong memory of that. I got on I navigate. I went and asked people, where's the train? How do I get to Central Station? And they showed me, go this way, go that way. I went in the underground, got on a train. I don't think I even paid. I think it was free from the airport. And but I did have my card. I had my bank card there. So in Stockholm, if you want to, everything's automated, and salaries are very high. So they don't have menial, low paid jobs. Everyone gets paid well, and everyone's employed. There's no unemployment as far as I can tell. probably are like down and out alcoholics and drug addicts, but I didn't see any um, who don't work as well. I mean, or disabled people. But then the government probably takes care of all that. So, like, if I wanted to take a train or a bus, and I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know how to buy a ticket, but they all speak very good English in Stockholm. I could just take my South African bank card, which is a Visa card, and just tap it or swipe it, and the payment would go through. And I made sure there was enough money available so that I wouldn't get stranded. And it's a miracle that I went away for 5 weeks and I had enough money to last the whole trip, because I just went on faith. I didn't budget. I just said, I'm going overseas and I'm seeing my bloody family. I don't care what happens. Worst case scenario, I'll borrow money from the bank. I'll borrow money from family and I'll pay them back. But I didn't even need to do any of that. I just somehow got through staying with people, not having to pay, and then making me food and feeding me and paying for a lot of things. Meant that it was very cheap for me to travel and to visit, actually. Which was amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, so then I managed to find him. I went to a coffee shop and they had Wi-Fi, and then he doesn't really do WhatsApp, he does Messenger. So then I was texting him, and then I was looking around, didn't see him, and I thought, oh, well, I'm in the wrong place. Next thing you know, here Patrick walks up, he had a big tummy now, but he's got more hair than me. I'm 45, he's 65, I think he's 65, and he's got more hair than me, the bugger, but I'm in much better shape. I'm the only skinny Wilton. Although, my brother, the oldest brother, oh, look at this damn cat. I had a cat on me, now I'm covered in hair. My oldest brother, Peter, he's quite skinny now. He used to be quite heavy, but he's lost weight. He's skinny now. Not as skinny as me. Anyway, so, yeah, he found me, and, yeah, then we took I think we took the bus 62 from Central Station to Patrick's flat on Kungsholmen, and what he told me is he doesn't walk much anymore. The first time I went to Stockholm, we walked for an entire day. We walked the entire Stockholm, and I was finished. I was 15 years old, and I thought I was going to die. I was so exhausted, and it was hot. My legs hurt, and I didn't know where the hell I was or what was going on. He just walked and walked and walked. This time, he's injured his back, and he put on a bit of weight, and he's older, he's 65, so you can forgive him. But he doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. He was a heavy smoker, chain smoker, but he smoked light cigarettes, but he smoked a lot. But now he doesn't touch cigarettes or nicotine, which is amazing. That's probably why he's still alive. And he's older, he doesn't really walk, which is perfect for me. I like taking public transport and doing short walking trips, but nothing too serious. He still walks a lot compared to a South African. South Africans, because it's not safe to walk anywhere. We always take public transport and drive. Don't take much public transport, really. Some of us do, but some people do. But mainly drive, I guess. Because even public transport is not always safe. But anyway, yeah, that was the flight to Istanbul and then meeting up with Patrick. And I'm glad I'm recording this, because then I can look back in 20 years and remember this and go, oh, remember that, yeah. And yeah, that's I think 23 minutes, 24 minutes chatting about that. Can't believe it. I managed to squeeze so much in just to a flight. But anyway, okay, there we go.